If you'd like to plant your feet on a block, you could do that. And as always, just a few moments here to arrive, make our way into that practice, bring our attention a little bit more inward, especially after the conversation and being a bit more kind of outward focused. And maybe your hands gently stroke your thighs or your legs, and just you bring some attention to that sensation, the physical sensation. Maybe your shoulders get a roll. And maybe you shift your weight from side to side, feeling your sit bones on the seat of your chair. And then we'll find some stillness. Your eyes might close. This is our opportunity to be with ourselves. Maybe learn something about ourselves today. It doesn't have to be anything super big or enlightening. Maybe something simple. And maybe it's that reminder that there is breath, and that your breath can be a source of attention, of focus. A way of finding some calm, some steadiness, some presence. Also a way to find a pause, some space. And so you might be slowing down slightly your breath. You might be able to hear the sound of your breath. Allow some softening through the face, maybe your jaw. Maybe you take a swallow. And then gently open your eyes, blink them a few times. And we'll find a gentle twist towards the right. Your right hand might slide behind you, your left hand crosses, and turn your torso right. And pause here for a moment. Maybe you use your hands to go a little bit further, but only do if that feels good. And then as you're ready, return through center and switch to the other side. Left hand can come behind you, right hand crosses over. You're turning your torso towards the left, your head follows. And then you're pausing there, explore, breathe. And then on your inhale, come back through center, reach your arms out into a T, turn your palms to face up towards the ceiling, and then turn your palms to face down and back. And then do that again, turn them up and down, back, finding that rotation through your arms. And then the next time the palms are turned up, drop the fingers towards the floor, your palms will be facing out. And then see if you can move from your wrists to bring your palms to face in, your fingers to point up. And then again, move from your wrists as your palms face out. And then from your wrists, palms face in. One more time, taking them out. And bring them back in. And then make a fist with your arms out into a T or lower. Rotate those wrists a few times. Both directions. And then release that. Wiggle your fingers. And then if your feet were on a block, return them to the ground. The block can go to the side and plant both feet. Take a moment to wiggle your toes. And then bring the shoulders all the way up by your ears, squeeze them in, and only lower your right shoulder, keeping your spine in the same position. Inhale, lift, and exhale, lower your left shoulder, and do it slow. Inhale, lift, and lower the right. And inhale, lift, and lower the left. As you inhale, both shoulders will lift. And on your exhale, soften them down. Heel to toe your feet out, knees wide, and then heel to toe your feet back in. And then do that again, taking them out and bringing them back. And again, taking them out and return them back in. With your next inhale, sweep your arms wide and take them overhead any amount. And on your exhale, a side bend towards the right. Pause here for a moment. Your left elbow could be bent. You could even rest the hand at your shoulder or the back of the head. But think about making some space in the left side of the body. So expanding through your left armpit, your left ribs, the left side of your waist. Take another breath in. And out. And then as you inhale, return through center. Maybe both arms reach tall. And on your exhale, take it to the other side. Left arm down. And then again, anything that's right for you with that right arm. But again, think about making that space. Right armpit, rib cage, waist. As you inhale, return the torso through center. Interlace your fingers overhead and bring the hands to the back of the head. As you breathe in, elbows go back. You might rest the head into the hands, maybe look up. On your breath out, elbow to elbow in front of you and round your spine any amount. Inhale again, we open up, broaden through your chest. And exhale, round. Another one. Inhale, we open. And exhale, we round. With the next inhale, we open, we reach those arms tall. And on the exhale, again, a side bend, left. Come back through center, breathing in. And to the right. Come back through center. And on your exhale, release those arms down. Rest your hands again onto your thighs. Heel to toe your feet out. And then heel to toe your feet back in. Do that again, taking them out and bringing them back. And then taking them out and pausing there. We're going to extend through the right leg. And then we're going to bend. And then extend left and bend. You might scoot forward on your chair again. Extend right, bend, and extend left. And bend. And then heel to toe your feet back in. Bring your arms out into a T. Take them back any amount. And on your exhale, right arm over left and give yourself a hug. Inhale, open. And switch. Exhale, hug. Inhale, open. Turn your palms to face back and slide the hands behind you. Back of your chair or other hand as you broaden through your chest. So actively, see if you can find that active squeeze of your shoulder blades. And then maybe your elbows come a bit closer and you feel that your chest kind of puffs forward and up. Another breath in. And out. And then as you inhale, release that. Reach your arms wide and up. And on your exhale, a twist towards the right side. Right hand behind us, left hand crosses. Nice. Pause here for a breath. And then as you inhale, return the torso through center. Maybe your arms lift. And let's take that twist to the left. Left hand behind us, right hand crosses over. So we're rotating that torso, turning left. There you go. As you inhale, come back through center. Arms can reach tall. Interlace again your fingers, but find the opposite interlace. And then again, bend your elbows and hands to the back of the head. Find a little bit more space between your knees and your feet, so take them kind of a little bit wider. And then as you inhale, take your elbows back, just like we did before. Rest the head into the hands, open up the front body. And on your exhale, elbow to elbow in front of you and find some rounding. Inhale again, we open up. Now on the exhale, the left elbow towards the right thigh. So now we're rounding, but we're also twisting, finding some rotation. Inhale again, open up, come back through center, maybe looking up. Exhale, right elbow towards left thigh. And let's go through that one more time. Opening up, center, elbow to elbow, rounding forward and down. Inhale, open. Exhale, left elbow, right thigh. Inhale, open. And right elbow to left thigh. As you inhale, come back through center, extend your arms up, and on your exhale, release those arms down. Take your feet a bit wider, and then extend again through your right leg. And then bring it back in, extend through your left. And bring it back in, one more of each. Extend right, in, and left. And bring it back in. And then from here, heel to toe your feet back in. And then bring the right knee into your chest and give it a squeeze. We're going to cross that right thigh all the way over the left. And we've been doing this one quite a bit recently, so let's go back to it. So we're going to keep the thighs crossed, but we're going to take the feet away from one another. So your left foot is going to go right, your right foot is going to go a bit more left and up. Right, so notice that squeeze through the thighs, and then the kind of the shins, the lower part of the leg is moving away from one another. And then bring those feet back in. Right foot squeezes towards left leg. Open your arms out into a T. Inhale. And on your exhale, right arm under left as you find that hug. We played with this a bit on Tuesday. We'll do a bit more. So stay with your hands at your shoulders and then send your elbows away from you. See if you can align your elbows with your shoulders and notice how that feels. And then draw your lower ribs gently down and in. And take a breath. And then with your next inhale, see if you can keep your spine just as is and just try lifting your elbows a little higher. And then lower your elbows. And keeping the spine as is again, lift your elbows any amount. And then lower your elbows. Nice. And one more like that. Lift. And lower. And then open up those arms. And on your exhale, a twist towards the right. Right hand behind us, left hand crosses over. Any amount of rotation that feels good. Make sure that your shoulders are still more or less over your hips and your chest is broad. So see if you can make any adjustments to find a bit more space in your chest. So you might move your left shoulder slightly back and down. Another breath in and out. With your next inhale, return the torso through center. If it feels good to reach those arms tall, do so. And then on your exhale, release those arms, unwind your legs, and plant your feet. Bring the left knee into the chest. Give it a squeeze. And then we're going to cross that left thigh all the way over the right. Just like we did with the other side. We're going to move the feet away from one another. I like to do this with my feet flexed, so drawing the toes towards the shin. See if you can feel that squeeze, thighs. You might feel some stretch sensation around the outer hip. And then bring the feet back towards one another and open your arms out. Take a breath in. And on your exhale, it's left arm under right. Find that hug. Again, keeping your hands at your shoulders. Send your elbows away from you. So you should find kind of a bit more space between your upper arms and your chest. And then keeping that, play with lifting and lowering your elbows without finding any movement through the spine. And pair it with your breath. Use your inhale to lift your elbows. Use your exhale to lower them. And again, breathing in and breathing out. And then with your next inhale, unwind your arms, maybe reach them tall. And let's take it into a twist, this time towards the left side. Left hand behind us, right hand crosses over. And now again, adjust as you need to keep space in your chest. So sometimes in twists, we kind of round forward, we close up the chest because we think we're going further. See if you can, and if you need to back up a bit, just so that you can keep that lifted spine, that broadness through the chest, and that full breath into your lungs. One more here. And then as you inhale, return the torso through center. Once again, maybe your arms lift. And on your exhale, release those arms down and unwind your legs. Plant your feet, and let's take those feet wide once again, knees wide too. And then bring them back in. And then take them out. And bring them back. And then one more time, taking them out and bringing them back. All right, so we're going to do some seated side lunges. If you'd like, grab a hold of your block and plant it to the left. If you don't have your block nearby, don't worry. You can, you'll be okay. So we're going to scoot towards the right side of your chair. So you'll be more on your left bum, left thigh, and your right leg is going to slide out to the right. So some adjustments here on your seat so that you're comfortable. And then your right leg doesn't have to be in line with your hip. Sometimes that kind of can bring out some cramping. So feel free to have it a little forward. Just see where you're at with this, okay? And you can keep your right foot completely planted, or it might be a little lifted. So again, make some adjustments there. And then we'll take an inhale and we'll sweep those arms up. And then on the exhale, we're going to lower the right hand towards that right leg to find a side bend. On the inhale, we'll come back through center. And then on the exhale, the left hand can come or to the seat of the chair, or if it reaches the block, you could come to your block, and you're going to find a stretch towards the left side. And then let's try that a couple more times. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, right hand towards right leg. Inhale, back through center. And left hand to the seat of the chair or all the way to the block for a big stretch for the right side body. One more time, come back through center, breathing in. Over to the right. And back through center, inhale. And over to the left. As you inhale, come back through center. And then on your exhale, bring hands to your hips. Now, see if you can keep the right leg where it is, and then begin to just hover over your left thigh. So you're finding a forward fold over that left leg. See if you can keep strong through your right leg. Reaching the crown of the head forward. Take another breath in. Nice. And another breath out. And then as you inhale, return the torso through center, bend your right knee, and bring your right foot in. We're going to do all of that on the other side. So if you were using the block, you could bring it over to the right side, scoot over to the left side of your chair, your right leg or right sit bone thigh is on the chair. Your left bum is most likely off the chair. And then your left leg is going to extend towards the left. Okay. Now, one thing before we get to that movement, see if you can stay aligned through your right leg. So plant your right ankle more or less under your right knee, and your right knee more or less in front of your right hip. And as you move your torso from side to side, see if you can stay stable through this right leg. Okay. So take a moment to align yourself, and once you feel like you've got this good, strong base, we'll take those arms up. And then on your exhale, left hand towards left leg as we find that side bend to the left. Any amount. Nice. Inhale, come back through center. And exhale, right hand or to the chair or maybe to the block. And then again, coming up through center. Exhale towards that left leg. Nice. Back through center. Exhale, chair or block. And one more of each. Back through center with your breath. To the left. In center. And to chair or block. Side stretch. As you inhale, come back through center. And then on your exhale, bring your hands to your hip creases. And then from here, take a breath in. And on your exhale, kind of use your right thigh as a guide and see if you can kind of align your right ribs with your right thigh as you find any amount of forward fold. Stay strong through your left leg. Even though it's out there, it's still working. And then as you inhale, return the torso through center. Left leg comes in. Both sit bones well planted. And now take a moment, bring the shoulders up. And then soften them down. And do that again. Bring them up. And soften. And one more like that. Bringing them up. And then softening them down. Bring the right knee into your chest. Give it a squeeze. And then again, let's cross the thigh over thigh, so right thigh over left thigh, and then squeeze those feet towards one another. Open your arms out into a T, and on your exhale, right arm under left. And again, now here you could stay with your hug like we did before, or if your elbows stay stacked, maybe your forearms lift, maybe your palms come to touch. All of those options are valid, so don't feel like you have to have your forearms lifted. So if that's not happening, if you lose the contact of your elbows, I would stay working on the hug. And then we'll free up the spine. So now we're going to find that extension and flexion through the spine. So when you're ready, we're going to inhale, extend. So think about elbows lifting, but it's from your spine. Your chest is lifting too. And then on your exhale, we're flexing through the spine. So your elbows will lower, but your spine will also round. And then again, inhale, we lift. Exhale, we round. And one more like that. Inhale. And exhale. And then with your next inhale, lift the spine, unwind the arms. If it feels good to reach those arms tall, do so. And then on your exhale, release arms, unwind the legs, and let's take it to the other side. Left knee comes in, give it a squeeze first. And then when you're ready, cross that left thigh over the right. The feet are coming towards one another. You've got that squeeze, and then arms out into a T. Take a breath in. And on your exhale, this time it's the left arm under the right. Give yourself that hug. And maybe on this side, it's a bit of a different version with your arm. So again, it doesn't have to be the same on both sides. See where you're at, but same options as before, staying with hands towards shoulders, or maybe lifting those forearms, maybe hands come to touch. And then again, we're going to free up that spine. So we'll take that inhale to find extension, that lift, and the exhale to find the rounding. Remember to empty out the lungs as you round. Inhale, fill. Exhale, empty. And another one, breathing in. And breathing out. And then on your inhale, unwind those arms. You could reach them up again. And as you exhale, release those arms down and unwind your legs. You're coming back to both feet grounded, your hands resting on your thighs. And we're going to make our way up to stand. So 3 times up and down, block between the knees if you'd like. When you're ready, reaching forward, up, inhale. And then same speed to lower, exhale. And then again, breathing in to lift. And breathing out to lower. Now half speed, breathing in to lift. And half speed to lower. And then the next time we lift, we stay lifted. You might stay with a bend in your knees, that chair position. Your hands can come to your chest, interlace your fingers, give your wrists a little attention. And then push the foot away. Maybe extend your arms overhead if that feels good. And let's take a standing side bend, right arm down and reach up and over. Inhale back through center, and then to your other side. And back through center, and then arms down by your side. We'll meet in a mountain pose, facing the seat of the chair. So we're going to do some side lunges here from kind of like a table pose position. So your mountain, your feet planted, maybe you shift your weight forward and back, maybe you give your shoulders a roll. Maybe you take a moment to allow your whole body, your mind to get acquainted with the standing position. A couple more breaths here. Maybe a little bit more action through your legs, some engagement through the glutes, a little lift through the lower belly. And when you're ready, sweep your arms up. On your exhale, a side bend right. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale to the other side. Inhale back through center. Exhale as we fold. Inhale to a halfway lift. And exhale, stay here. And now heel to toe your feet out, away from one another, so you're in this wide leg stance. And then we're going to turn the toes slightly out. So you could think maybe 45-degree angle or a little less. Your knees also have turned out, so toes and knees are pointing in the same direction. And then from here, bend into your right knee and think about your right knee tracking with your right toes as you bend it. Your right sit bone will lower towards that right heel. And then bring yourself back through center. And then do the same on the left side. Left knee bends. Make sure that that left knee doesn't just drop inward. Okay, so you've got some action through your outer hip. And then bring it back through center. And then again, right knee bends. And back through center. And left knee bends. And back through center. Now we're going a few more times from side to side. If you're feeling comfortable, lighten up on your hands and lift your torso a little bit more. So rather than being over the chair, come up a little bit more. So you could come onto your fingertips if you're feeling strong through the legs. And keep going into those side lunges at your own pace. And just feel that there's work, there's strength, there's things happening in the legs to support you here. And you're not just supporting your weight with your hands, but you play with how much you do, that support through legs and hands. And then when you feel that you've done enough on both sides, bring yourself back through center. Plant your hands and heel to toe your feet back in. And now here in your table pose, take an inhale into cow. Think about lifting the sit bones and the tailbone, dropping the belly, chest forward, maybe gaze up. And then on your exhale, tuck your tailbone and round the rest of your spine. And then again, inhale. So feel that movement through your pelvis. Tailbone up, sit bones up. And exhale, sit bones, tailbone, tuck under. Again, one more. Pelvis, more in the pelvis. See if you can feel that a bit more. Tailbone up, and then tailbone under. Nice job. And then a bend in the knees. Your hands can come to your hips and unroll the spine as you rise all the way up. Let your hands relax down by your side. Wiggle your fingers. Maybe give your shoulders a roll. We're going to do that once again. So if you feel like, that your lunges, okay, I'm good doing this. See if you can bring a little bit more like inner resistance. And it's kind of, sometimes this is difficult to grasp, but once you've got it, it's there. So think about that, pushing the floor away. Imagine that instead of movement through air, that you can just kind of, shift around. Imagine that you were moving through something a bit more dense. Like, it was oil, it was sticky. You really had to kind of put effort into this. So you're finding a bit more engagement through the legs, even if the movement is kind of the same. You kind of, this inner resistance that you're finding, that you're working those muscles a bit more. So see if that makes sense, okay? And we can talk about it after if it's not, making that much sense, which, could be. So anyway, let's give it a try. So mountain pose once again, you're facing the seat of the chair, and when you're ready, sweep your arms up. On your exhale, left arm down, side bend. Come back through center, inhale. Take it to the other side, exhale. Come back through center, inhale, and forward fold, exhale. Plant your hands, find that halfway lift, and then heel to toe your feet out. Turn your toes slightly out, left toes a bit more left, right toes a bit more right. And then from here, bend into your left knee. And then straighten and bend into your right. And then once you've got that going, keeping that knee aligned so that it keeps tracking with your toes. Maybe play with lightening up on your hands. Maybe find that extra resistance so that you're pushing the floor away the whole time. Even when you're bending your knee, you've got that resistance. You're not just dropping with gravity. You're kind of resisting by pushing the floor away as you straighten, but also as you bend. You should feel that there's like more engagement through the legs. Your glutes will be a bit more engaged. So the bottom part of your body is really working here. And if that bottom part is working, the upper body can be quite relaxed. Okay, so see if you can feel that really stable and strong through the legs. And maybe the fingers are still resting on the chair. That's fine too. Remember your breath. We'll do one more to each side. Nice job. All right, and then the next time you come through center, return your hands to the chair if they were somewhere else, and then heel to toe your feet in. Take a moment here, forward fold if it feels good. So a nice bend in the knees. Maybe you come onto your forearms on the seat of the chair. If you'd like to rest on the back of the chair, that feels better, you could do that. You could rest your forehead into your forearms, or you could hang if that feels good. Just take a couple breaths here and stretch for the glutes, the backs of the legs. Breathing in and breathing out. Another one. Maybe an open mouth exhale. And then as you're ready, making our way up. And once you get to your mountain pose, let your arms relax. Give your shoulders a roll or wiggle through your fingers. Take a full breath in. And a long breath out. Okay, we coming back to chair, recliner, sofa, or the floor. I'll meet you there and we'll find a seat. Bring your block with you actually if you finding your seat, and we'll meet with the feet wide and the knees wide. We're going to give the back body a stretch. So block and hands to between the feet, between the legs, and then we're walking the block and the hands forward. Your block the high setting if you'd like, and it will allow you to go a little further forward and find a bit more stretch through that back body. And then keep your knees drawing wide rather than letting them drop in. You might even come a bit onto the pinky edge of the foot, of the feet, if you'd like. And then as you reach your fingers forward on that block, feel that stretch through the back body. And then take a few breaths. You could imagine your inhales expanding into that back body, maybe around your shoulder blades, the back ribs, maybe even all the way to the lower back. And then your exhales are relaxing your torso towards the floor. One more here. And then slowly on your inhale, begin to lift that spine. You could move the block to the side. And once your spine is lifted, heel to toe your feet in, and let's come all the way onto our back body. We're going to give those glutes a little stretch. So however you want to get onto your back, maybe coming onto your side and rolling over, or maybe slowly lowering yourself, using that core, using that strength. Noticing how that back body makes contact with the surface underneath. And then once the head lands, the knees can come into the chest. You could do one knee at a time, or you could do both knees at the same time. And lift and lower your sacrum. So lift and lower the backs of your hips a few times, finding kind of this movement of the knees drawing in and then moving slightly away. And then we're going to plant that left foot with the left knee bent, and we're going to cross that right ankle over the left thigh. It's your reclined figure four, sending your right knee away. Now you could stay here, or you could bring the hands behind your left thigh. If the hands don't come behind the thigh, you could grab, a t-shirt, a towel, or if you have your strap. I didn't suggest to grab it, so if you don't have it, totally understand. But anything that will allow you to bring that left thigh in towards you, bringing that figure four in towards your chest. So hands are around that left thigh. And your right knee is still moving away from you. That should give you quite the stretch through the right glute area. Other ways to do this more supported reclined figure 4 would be to have your left foot kind of like resting on the seat of a chair, or your left foot pushing against a wall. Sometimes those are nice ways to, to be a little bit more supported through the legs. A couple more breaths. And then as you're ready, release this figure 4. Bring both knees into your chest, or again, one at a time. And now rock from side to side a bit. And if you are on the ground or reclined, you might even rock all the way onto your left side. And then all the way onto your right side, if that feels good. And then we'll meet back at center, and we'll take that reclined figure 4 on the other side. So your right foot will plant to start with, right knee is bent, and then your left ankle crosses over your right thigh. And then once you've got this, your left knee is moving away from you, and you want to try to keep it moving away from you throughout. You might then bring that right thigh in towards you. Again, maybe using your hands or any equivalent to a strap. Even a sock might do it. And then see if you can feel stretch around the back of that left hip. Wherever you are, keep coming back to your breath. And really feel it in your chest, your rib cage. And then release your figure 4. This time plant both feet wide. Let the knees rest in towards one another. And then visualize your inner thighs moving towards the feet end of your mat, so forward. So you're going into a bit more internal rotation through your legs. And then your hands could rest on your belly, lower ribs. Try lengthening your spine just a little bit more, sliding the back of the head a little further back. And then let yourself breathe here and just notice what the breath is like moving against your hands, towards and away from your hands. You're not forcing it in any way. Just feel. Allowing your breath to be whatever it is at this point. And if you're comfortable in this position for Shavasana, staying. If you prefer a different one, going there. And as best you can, now letting go of the effort, really allowing your body to be supported, to be held. And for the next few minutes, letting yourself be. Nothing else to do right now. As we gently move away from Shavasana, just bring awareness to any sounds that you're hearing around you and see if you can just take those in. Maybe the sounds that are close by and the sounds that are further away. And then among those, you might notice the sound of your breathing. And then just make it a little bit more obvious. And then let that breath inspire some gentle movement back into the body. And taking your time. So no rush. Eventually we'll meet in a seat. And maybe still, eyes closed, allowing yourself to be right here at this moment, even though maybe thoughts about what's coming next start flowing in. And bring yourself to this moment, to your breath, maybe to the sounds that you are hearing. Once again to your breath. And once you're in your seat, you might choose to rest your hands in your lap or bring them to your chest. And give yourself a breath in. And out. And taking this moment to acknowledge the practice, all the opportunities and possibilities it provides. To acknowledge and appreciate ourselves for practicing today. And then to acknowledge, appreciate, maybe remember those who have practiced with us. And then appreciating all those who have made it possible in one way or another, bigger, smaller impact. And as always, we'll end with a word that means that the light in me recognizes and honors the light in you. Namaste.